Hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining yet another session for Let's Talk Design. Our guest should be with us shortly. So you can go grab a cup of tea or coffee and or your drink of choice, and we'll be talking about trends and styles in materials in interior design. So I really look forward to this conversation. We have a very special guest with us today. Uh, if you have any questions, you can drop your questions in the chat box. Hi everyone. Thank you for joining the session. Please do drop in your questions in the chat box. We have a very special guest joining us shortly. Yes, there we are. Okay, I think there is a problem. Hi.
Hi, Tanya. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Okay, great. So you can hear
Thank
me
you
well?
for having. Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for having me over here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for being a part of this Let's Talk Design series. We're really looking forward to this conversation with you on trends and styles in materials in interior design. So if you're ready, then we can just straight away start. I will
Yeah,
just
sure.
introduce you. I'll introduce you formally once to our guests.
Sure.
So we have with us Noorein. Is that right? Am I pronouncing it
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
It's Noorein.
So
Yes.
yes, yes. So we have with us Noorein Kapoor, who's the founder of Noorein Kapoor Design. She's a psychology and interior design graduate from the Rachna Sadsad Institute of Design in Mumbai. Her deep, passionate understanding of a client's needs and meticulous attention to detail shines through her commitment to a project. Her designs are a sensitive juxtaposition of complex simplicity, functionality, and serene sophistication. So we really like your work, and it's such a pleasure for us to have you with us in this series by A-Class Marble called Let's Talk Design. So we'll start with a few questions, and then we'll
Thank
take
you
maybe a
so
couple
much,
from
Tanya.
the audience. We'll be
Thank
taking a
you
few
so much.
questions. Yeah, thank you, thank you.
Well,
So my first question to you is, one of the problems that every architect and designer faces is how, is to introduce new trends while they already are practicing, with a sense of timelessness. So
yeah.
how do you think there are trends in materiality that are timeless?
Firstly, about timeless design, I think a style or a sense of design of a space is very client dependent. For us, for our studio, we really believe in the fact that any design has to reflect a client's personality, has to be sensitive towards a client's needs. Yeah, it's very, very important for us to be able to really base ourselves on their lifestyle, okay, to really create an emotion that is beautiful but at the same time takes care of their well-being. Okay, so to try and work around these needs, I think it's so important for us to be able to understand the evolution in the design industry. Okay, I mean, if you look at every other industry in whether it's a food industry, whether it's the fashion industry, whether it is the design industry, we are all evolving at every given point of time. Every industry is evolving, right? There are trends, there are fad diets, there's like everything going on everywhere at every given point of time. But the key is to stick to a classic material palette, yeah, to be able to create that timeless design. So the minute we stick to a classic canvas, it's very it's very easy to then add the boldness, in colors, to add textiles, to add trends, whatever is trending, whether it's a jute carpet, whether it is, some pop art, it's very easy to work with that classic canvas, right? So it's very important to be able to incorporate that trend that I think each client of ours is, can respond to,
Right.
where, what their thought process is, what their personality responds to, right? So that's what we really look at creating in our studio. So whether it's about, working with with different marbles, or like different tones in our materiality, whether it's about, creating that color palette that really works with various trends and colors and bold accent statements. It's very important for our design to be able to endure the test of time, because
Right.
obviously at every given point of time our clients are not breaking or making homes again and again, right? I think every time, like, it's so much that goes out of our pockets to make a home, that it's so important that, each time, any client of ours at any given point of time can really freshen up their homes, with different loose pieces, right? So I think
Right.
that is where we base our materiality on a very classic canvas, working with very classic materials like stone, marble, wood. These are like basic classic materials that you can really build your design on.
Mm.
So that really works very well in design.
Okay, very interesting. So since we're talking about trends, right? In 2021, what do you think, according to you, are trends in colors that have sort of taken over the world of interior design?
I think, the trendy color palette, what I really go by. In fact, lately I have myself really changed my fashion sensibility towards this palette. It's a very earthy color palette. Okay, playing
Mm.
with, like, really earthy tones. The desert pink, the natural clay color, the earthy browns, the earthy grays, like, sorry, the earthy greens and grays, like the sage greens, and these kind of color palettes are, I think, very very much trending, because with this color palette, which is like a great base, we can really work any trend around it, like add any boldness to it, add any kind of characteristic element, add that accent wall, create that drama with a earthy color palette. I think it works beautifully well in every home. So
Mm.
that, I think, an earthy color palette is really trending, according to me.
Okay, great. And since you're talking about earthiness, right? How does one, bring in an element of sustainability into their work?
Yeah, I think when we work with a earthy color palette, I mean, when I'm talking about earthiness and to bring in sustainability, say in Indian homes or in our homes that we work with, I think it's more about, really going local with our procurements,
Right.
trying to really source locally. There's so many beautiful Indian stones and marbles that are available in our market, in our local market. Whether it is, the Kadapa from Andhra Pradesh, whether it is the Kota from Rajasthan, whether limestone, sandstones. There's so many varieties of marble. I think marble is like the most universal, it's that universal ambassador of materials, which I think any Indian home, go with. Like, everybody, wants a beautiful marble flooring, or they want marble in their bathrooms. So it's that exotic material that really adds to a luxurious home. It's that premium material that we can use to really make your space look luxurious. So I think, really sourcing from local brands, local markets, and at the same time, as designers, I think, really being conscious about, green design. I think, it's definitely going to be the future. It is coming in, slowly but surely, because at the same time, when we design homes and when we're working on color palettes and canvases and materialities, I think, just to be sensitive towards, water saving, sustainability, where water is concerned, where, consumption of electricity is concerned, whether it's LED lightings, whether it's, really or maybe really using expansive window treatments to open up your windows, to add skylights, because I think that natural light also creates so much of drama with your natural stones and your natural marble and elements, that it really adds to your space a lot. So I think really thinking in a more conscious way is very, very important for all of us designers. I think, you know, we're slowly trying to take baby steps towards understanding what we can change or where we can bring that shift you know, in our design sensibilities, and what we can really pitch to the clients, you know, to kind of make them understand that what really works and what doesn't work today. So this is something that we are all, I think, trying to unlearn and relearn in our industry.
Okay, yeah, I think conscious thinking is like a first step, and I think one can just
I think
start
it
from
is.
there.
Yeah, I mean,
That's a
and
really
also
good.
if you think about your stones, there are so many lost stones and marble, like, you know, like that we don't, like, you know, I think all the composite stones and all, you know, there's so much that's available in the market nowadays, that even our basic stones like the granites that work so well indoor and outdoor, right? Like, and they're so,
Yeah,
like, you know, highly resilient. You can
yeah,
literally have them in a flamed finish, in a honed, you know, finish, in a leather finish. There are
texture.
so many finishes and textures that you can add to your material board with, say, you know, with granite. And you know, there's this one material which I really love. I think I call it my handsome material. It's the slate, the black
Yeah,
slate. I think
yeah,
I just
beautiful.
love that. It's such a beautiful stone, and you know, we can really utilize it and cut it into mosaic patterns, use them. It's, again, you can use them in bathrooms, you can
As it
use them
is, yeah.
as it is, and they work so well in a space. You don't have to really, they don't really pinch your pocket. They are inexpensive materials that we can really source so locally over here. So I really think that these stones can really create a whole lot of drama, and these are all these forgotten stones that we, as in our studio, also are trying to really, you know, recreate and look at in our material pack.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing specific examples because they really help our audience as well.
Yes.
So, when it comes to materiality, right, at the end of the day, a lot of the homes are apartments and smaller homes, the sort of spaces that everybody inhabits. Could you recommend some ideas or tips or specific materials that add to the play of materiality in a small home or an apartment?
Yes, I think in a small home, I think what is the most important takeaway when we design smaller homes is, again, coming back to your, you know, your flooring, right? I think just taking that one floor throughout your space can make your home look bigger. I mean, you know, subdividing it with your living room being, you know, marble or say a stone, and your bedrooms being another tile, or your, you know, your bedrooms being another wooden floor. It just cuts the eye, the view, you know, the expanse of really making your home seem endless and bigger. So I think, you know, working with that one material palette throughout your floor is the key tip, you know, for a smaller apartment. But at the same time, also, I really believe in this. I mean, I am trying to really incorporate this concept, you know, like the monolithic concept of, you know, using a stone where, you know, you can literally use a stone on your floor. You can use it, whether it's a marble or a stone, you can use it on your walls also, and wrap it all around, like even in your bathrooms, take it up, and then you throw in your softness of your sofas and your textiles and your materials, because that whole monolithic material board can really look so different. And I think it comes from the monolithic architectural form, you know, of design. So I think that is something we're trying to really work around. And you know, I'm really, like, I've been lately really, like, trying to read about this concept and work around it. Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Now that is one way of sort of approaching, the material palette. Another
Yeah.
way is to actually mix and match marble. There there
Yes.
are there are lots of interesting ways of actually mixing and matching. I mean, large spaces, small spaces, bathrooms, kitchen. You can actually just within marble itself, you can play around with the different types of marbles that you're working
Yes.
with.
So, you know,
Could
even
you,
in, yeah.
yeah, could you share some tips on that? Like
Yeah.
how does
So in
one
your,
successfully achieve something?
Yes, I tell you, so in your smaller homes or apartments also, say when you work with like say mixing marbles and stones, or say using marble and stone as a materiality, I think when you take say a basic floor material, but in your bathrooms, we can work with these marble and stones that have this beautiful character, because it's about creating jewel box moments in your home. Your smaller spaces are actually your spaces that are the jewel boxes of your home, because when from your living room, when you enter your bathroom, you can actually have that character stone running over there that speaks boldness, that speaks drama, that speaks the client's characteristics, that personality. It really reflects who they are. So I think that, trying to really create these pockets, in your home that speak art, or that transform people into this amazing space. I think that is very important in when we work with apartments. You don't have to really enter a home, and it doesn't have to really shout out what the material palette is all about, or whether the clients have even spent on it or not, or whatever. It's just about creating these beautiful pockets in your home. Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think that works
interesting.
well.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's a very useful tip as well. Uh, so a lot of designers also find experimenting with new trends challenging, because it's something new, you haven't done it earlier. And more so when the architectural style is sort of traditional, more conventional, to bring in something more contemporary or to try and play around with something that is just something new out of the box is very challenging. What does one do in such situations? Could you share like a couple of ideas where you've done something new, but you just managed it sort of, it ended up being successful because you kept these two or three things in mind?
uh, I think it's all about mixing the old and new. Yeah, it's not about like just what is really trending or what is really contemporary. It's more about creating something that's timeless. We've always go back to that is something that we always think that some like a space that we create has to even years down the line, when people see it, or like say if you've used your materials, it shouldn't be that it feels dated. It has to feel very timeless, and it has to feel you need to be able to sense the age of that particular space. Like it has to kind of feel very lived in. It can't feel it's not about just creating modern and contemporary and flashy homes. It just has to feel more like a home. So that is something that we really work on always. Yeah.
I think that's a really, really good note, because I'm just coming to my last question, and I feel like I wish this was the last question. But the fact that you want to sort of, make it a home, and that really is the essence of design as well. It's,
Yes.
instead of
Yes.
focusing trends
Sorry
and
about my
things that
dog
will,
barking.
no problem at all. So, yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that. Last question for today is, would you like to share some global trends today that are popular, that one
Oh,
can look at,
yeah.
especially when it comes to stone, particularly with stone?
Yes, I think when it comes to stone, again, as I said, the universal, stone that is always trending are different marbles. Whether it's, we have a lot of Indian marbles, but there are Italian marbles. There are various other marbles in the, coming in from all over the world, right? So and they have so much characteristic. There's so much characteristic that goes on the wall. You can use it as accent walls. You can do paneling with marble. You can do these shelving details. You can do so much with a marble. You can have it laid on a dining table. So I think marble is really trending all around. The different kind of usage of marbles is really trending a lot. And I think the latest stone that is really trending, and I'm sure you will agree to this, is terrazzo, which I think
Yeah.
everybody has been diving deep
Yeah.
into, right? I mean, even me, I think I really personally love the stone, and I've really used it in my project, and I'm using it again. And I think that it's again, terrazzo is a very old stone, but I think the comeback of it has been so strong. Even
Yes.
cane, I think
Yeah.
it's back in full form. So
Yeah,
that's also a
absolutely.
material that's been trending along. So when you use stone, when you use cane, these are all natural elements that you can actually use, and they are very timeless materials.
And
That will
sustainable,
never.
of course. Yeah.
Yes, they're very timeless materials. And I think the most trending even apart from stone, even in stones, I think that the whole fact of using a wider range of color palette. It's not about just black white. It's not about just neutrals. It's not just the gray is the new beige
Yeah.
kind of a thing. It's actually about, being able to really use the wider color palette. Going for those, those soft pastel marble stones or the blues, and having that bold character in the stone for the accent walls. So really using and layering your project with these wider with wider color palette, with neutrals, layering it with bold pops. So I think all this works, are the trending, are globally trending, where all designers are really using it basically. Yeah. So that's one thing that I believe in, that a lot is really trending globally.
Great. Thank you so much. That was super, super insightful. I think there's a lot of tips in there, and we'll do a takeaway post later that that will be very useful to everybody. I think. Last two things, which are the regulars here. If you had to pick one stone that resonates with your personality, what would that be?
That resonates with my personality. I really love the slate, as I said.
Yeah.
I think it's just it's the handsome stone that I really love, and I think if I have to make my home, I think I would really be able to live with that slate flooring. It's just so, I think it can never go out of style. It can never go out of fashion. You can work it around with so many different trends. So yeah, slate would be my stone, go-to stone. And if it's marble, I think I really love Satvario. I think it's beautiful, and I think maybe a combination of
It's a
Satvario.
popular one. A lot of people come here and say that.
Yeah, and I think maybe a combination of Satvario and slate would be so
Be
so
nice.
banging, because it'll have that that earthiness, but along with that opulence. So
Yeah.
I think that would really work and
Yeah, and
sit
it's
well.
it's completely different texture, color, everything. Stark
Yeah,
contrast.
you can really work with it so well. So yeah, that would be my
Okay,
go-to.
that's super useful. And the last thing, so the series is called Let's Talk Design. So if you had to
Yes.
say one thing when it comes to stone, and the hashtag that we're following is Let's Talk Design, what would that one thing be? Just leave our audience with a message.
The hashtag for stone.
No, hashtag is Let's Talk Design. So if you
Yes.
had to leave one message for our audience for Let's Talk Design, what would that be?
I think the one message would be, always work your space around yourself, your personality, your inner calling. It's very important to, make your home reflect you. Even if you hire a designer, it's not about the designer, it's about you. So I think it's very important to really, understand what you love and what you can always live with, because we all evolve. We all keep changing. But what do we really resonate with, is very important. And that's what we should bring into our homes. So yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Noorein. It was an absolute pleasure to speak to you.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
so
being a
much.
part of the A-Class series. And the A-Class has completed 50 years. And as a thank you gesture for you, they'll be planting a tree on your behalf. So thank you very much, and good luck with all your work. We look forward to seeing more
Thank
exciting
you
times.
so much. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.